Hey everyone, I'm Becca. I'm the Fat Firefighter Lady. Welcome back to my channel where you can join me on my journey to lose 120 pounds and become the firefighter you actually want showing up at your house. Today is my weekly weigh-in, so we're going to talk a little bit about how I did last week, and I'm pretty happy about these results. Last week I tried to focus on water. I was going to start fasting. That's a whole other story. I did pretty well with the water. Fasting was a little bit different. That was difficult for me, so I had to change things up a bit. But let's start with my weight, which was down 2 pounds this week. So yay! I'm happy about that. The fasting, however, did not go as planned. I was gonna do a 16-8 fast, and people warned me that that would be hard. I didn't think it was gonna be that hard, honestly, but it was. And I found that doing it that way every day just made me crave food. I couldn't wait until it was time to eat, and I would just watch the clock and wait for it to be time to eat. And then when it was time to eat, I had worked myself into such a mental hunger that I just ate a lot, way too much. And yeah, it was hard to stop eating at a certain time. It's just hard. So it was not sitting well with me. I did it for about 3 days, and then I changed it up a bit. So I finished the book, The Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung, and I think he's onto something, guys. Honestly, the things that he says make sense. As somebody who went to college with a neuropsychology major, I did have to take some basic anatomy, physiology, biology, and then we got into more of the brain stuff versus the body stuff. But point is, he makes some really good points. And honestly, if you haven't given the book a listen, I do recommend it. He talks about fasting, but there's multiple versions of fasting. So there's intermittent fasting, which is what most people do, the 16-8 or 12-12 or 14-8 or I don't know. My math is jacked up. Anyway, I'm fasting today in case you couldn't tell. So I can't think straight. But anyway, so the fasting is basically, you can do it on a schedule that way, the way most people do, where you just eat, you have a certain window, I only eat from noon to 8 o'clock. And that's cool. That's the one that did not work for me. But then he talks about other fasting as well. And this fasting, it works for weight loss, but it's more about lowering your insulin resistance in your body, which is basically the reason why I'm fat. Is the insulin is what makes people fat, is what it comes down to. So it's really not about calories, it's about how they're processed, it's about what kind of calories you take in. I mean, that's his view on things. Honestly, some of the things he says, it's fascinating. It's fascinating to think about the biology of weight loss and how things work or don't work, and to think that he might be right, that we might have been doing it wrong all along. And maybe that's why, the new trendy keto and intermittent fasting is actually working. And maybe it has a better prognosis for long term. That would be awesome. I've had, he talks about calories in, calories out. He talks about all the past methodologies that we've used and that doctors have pushed on us for weight loss. And they sound good in theory, but they don't work. And if they do work, it's short term and it doesn't last. So something's got to be wrong, right? Dr. Fung thinks so, and I agree. So the schedule I've taken on is I'm doing 2 24-hour fasts each week. So on the days that I'm not fasting, I do try to keep it to a 12 and 12 window. And I'm doing that because the fasting needs to be on a regular schedule. So there's feasting and fasting. You have to have a balance between the times you feast and the times you fast. And when you're fasting, your body actually converts glycogen from your liver into energy, as opposed to when you're eating that energy and then your body just burns it straight away. So the idea is to at least maintain the balance, and then every now and then to throw in a fast. And once you fast, things get a little bit different. He talks a lot about low calories and restricting calories, and your metabolism actually slows down when you restrict calories. And then if you eat too much, apparently it speeds up even more. And then the idea is the body is trying to maintain homeostasis. He talks about a whole bunch of studies that were done recently, studies that were done 70 years ago, 100 years ago almost, so that's old, but he's not looking necessarily at what the study was looking at. He's looking at kind of those outlying factors that were also measured when the study was done. I know people like to criticize the old stuff, it's old stuff, but I don't know, you have to read the book. You have to read the book, because I'm doing a crappy job at trying to explain it. But I've decided to fast for 2 days a week. Right now I'm doing 24-hour fasts. I hope soon to increase that to 36-hour fasting. I think for me, it's actually easier this way because I'm not waiting for a certain time of day. I'm not watching the clock to see if I can eat yet or not because I'm feeling hungry. My mouth isn't watering in anticipation of whatever meal I'm gonna have. I literally just try to not think about food for a day. I will go through the day and I just know that I'm not gonna eat that day. And for some reason, that's easier for my brain to accept. Then there's no deliberating, there's no negotiating. It's kind of a black and white, a yes or no. Either I'm eating that day or I'm not. The other side of that is the high fat diet. Apparently your body digests fat differently than it digests other things. Other things get turned and broken down into carbs and used by the body. Fat actually doesn't require much insulin to break down, so fat is like way better if you're trying to regulate your insulin. I've tried keto in the past. It didn't last very long. I did lose some weight, but I was only on it for like 3 weeks, and the weight came right back when I was done because I started eating carbs again. And apparently that was a lot of water weight at first. What you lose is water weight. So it's not necessarily keto. I mean, I guess it's keto. I'm gonna try the high fat, low carb diet. I had been kind of restricting carbs, but not to the extent that I will be going forward. I'm a little bit nervous about this because I have no gallbladder, so I don't digest fat very well and I tend to get heartburn. I may have to seek out some expert advice on that. If you have expert advice, if you happen to be a nutritionist or somebody who deals with this kind of thing or has lived through it, has experienced a similar situation, drop me a comment below. Let me know. Let me know some tips, some tricks that you've learned or things that I need to watch out for. I'm kind of going through the stuff that's still in my pantry, that's still in my fridge. I am just gradually shifting the way I eat, so I'm not quite there yet, but I'm going in that direction. Things to change for next week? I think I kind of found my groove, at least for now. And it's working. I mean, the low calorie thing was working too, because last week I lost 2 pounds as well. This week I lost 2 pounds. So I don't know. We'll see going forward. I'm kind of excited about this. What he said it really resonates with me and my experience with calories and dieting. If you haven't read the book, I really, really do recommend it. I'm not endorsed. I'm certainly not collecting anything. No, I do recommend it. It's worth the read, especially if you're sick of the traditional model or if that has stopped working for you. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please please subscribe below if you haven't already, and ding that bell so you can get notified when I post, stupid videos like this. Thank you guys for watching and for your support.